G'day, hobbyists, and welcome back to The Hobby, the podcast where we explore all things related to hobbies and passions, from trading cards to pop culture and everything else in between. I am your host, Dean Alsop, and as always, I am joined by my right-hand man, the one and only King Kearns. What's going on, Colonel?
What's happening, Dino? What's happening, hobbyists? Merry Christmas and
Happy New Year.
Man, I love the holiday season.
It's, look, I eat too much during the holiday season, that's for sure. But it is a lot of fun now with little H. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I mean, the best part about the holidays is afterwards you've got a whole nother year of like challenges and triumphs and all that set out in front of you that you're just not sure what they are yet. I mean, it's like when you look back at where we were this time last year, we were talking about doing this podcast, and here we are at episode, 21?
21. Episode 21.
Episode 21. Isn't that the hump? Is that the podcast hump?
No, I think it's 23. We're close to it. But
I feel like it's 21. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be 23. I don't know.
What's the go-to favourite Christmas dish, mate? What's the one thing you can't say no to?
All of it. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But no, there's a family friend at our Christmases that makes this really creamy dill sauce that you put on like smoked salmon and on the prawns. Bruh.
Delicious.
Game changer.
Delicious.
I'll get you some one day. And you'd be like, dude, no. I need it.
Game over.
Yeah, literally.
I love the fact we can't just have one type of meat. It's like, no, we want chicken and turkey and lamb and seafood. It's just a meat smorgasbord.
I think that's why I feel so crook afterwards, right? Because I've literally eaten like 4 or 5 different animals. Like, it's just, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, and it's not just like one catch up. Like, our schedule was super busy. 4 different Christmas lunches / dinners over the space of like 3 days.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy, man. But you know what else is crazy is the last 2 guests we had on this podcast. It would be remiss of us to not go back and briefly touch on both Charlie Hurlocker, the owner-president of MetaZoo moving forward. That was a phenomenal chat with him with some really cool insights. And I think it's one thing I'm really excited about for 2025. There's so much to be excited about for 2025, but seeing MetaZoo back is probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, that's huge. I know the reception online as well was really great in terms of over on the YouTube, we had more people commenting and excited about that. For me, the Logan head conversation was amazing. Getting the chance to chat to the guy that was a big part in starting Whatnot and that launching here in Australia. I think the one thing I'm really excited for this year is taking streaming to the next level. And once we fully launch Whatnot in Oz, what that looks like for streamers and buyers right across the country. So,
I mean, look, you could pair the two of them together because in 2025, although we're already on Whatnot, we'll get to stream MetaZoo again on Whatnot.
Yeah.
As well as all the other stuff we still do. Don't worry, guys. Like, you're still going to get all your Pokemon and your sports and all that jazz. Yeah. But it will be exciting because when MetaZoo was popping off the first time, we didn't have Whatnot in Australia. And I bought a lot of MetaZoo on Whatnot in America at that point in time. So it's two of my worlds absolutely colliding in 2025. It's going to be one hell of a ride, and I'm pumped.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we want to continue to do here is bring exciting guests like that, and we're going to have a bit of a deep dive through it in this episode as we do a bit of a recap. But to finish the year with both of those guys was pretty special.
We're pretty lucky, man.
Pretty special episodes for sure.
We're pretty lucky, bro. We're pretty lucky. Like you said, there was a smorgasbord of guests for our humble little podcast in its first year. So we will revisit that over this episode. But first, I think we should take it to the news.
Dino, we're going to start with a bit of Goldin Watch today.
We love a bit of Goldin Watch.
We always do. I love to keep you updated on what some of the biggest sales are going around across not just TCG, but across the sporting market as well. I had a Shohei Ohtani, 1 of 1 PSA 8. It was a Cosmic Chrome Cactus Super Refractor that sold for $8,500 USD.
I always find it interesting that people grade 1 of 1s. I mean, it doesn't really matter what grade it gets because there's not going to ever be any graded higher or lower. So it really doesn't matter. At least the condition is an 8. But at the same time, like, it is just a 101. So like, what's the point of getting it graded when you could just get it authenticated? It's, an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because if it is a 10, of course, it's probably going to go for more than 8.5, just because of the mental psychology of a human being going, well, it's perfect, it's a 10. If it's just authenticated, is it going to still get 8.5 or is it going to get more? Because it's like when you sometimes like when I'm selling a raw card, it could get like a 6, and then what am I trying to say here? Like sometimes raw cards will get a higher price than say a PSA 6 or a PSA 7 because the fact of the unknown is already taken away. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it's a raw card and it might have a little nick here or a small scratch there, there's still a chance that, you could grade it and make some money on it. So it's always, it's a fine line between choosing what to grade or what to sell raw. Even that card, like, did he need to send it to PSA? Like, if he had just sold it raw, would it have gone for more? It's an interesting concept about 101s because I remember when we were doing the MetaZoo Topps Chrome and they had 101s, and that was probably the time where it was discussed most in my world. I remember Matt pulled a 101 and he's like, should I grade it? And I think we had the same sort of conversation. He ended up selling it raw anyway. And I think the guy did grade it and I can't remember what grade it got. But yeah, so Shohei Ohtani, $8.5 though for a 101 of his. That seems cheap, but I guess when he's got so many big cards, they can't all be worth hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars.
And it's also the baseball off season. So the one thing in the sporting world is you should never sell cards outside of in season.
Yeah,
the hype dies down a bit.
Yep.
But shout out to him and his family. They're announced a new baby coming, so that's quite exciting.
Well,
baby news.
Yeah, I don't know if they have like a father-son rule over there, like we do in the AFL, but yeah, the Dodgers would be stoked if they do. And baby Ohtani in about 15 or what? You probably start playing when he's like 18 or 19 or something. So they've only got to wait till 2045 or something.
Yeah, pretty much. They might do what they do in the English football where they sign him into the junior program from 8 years old and run him through juniors the whole way.
Mate, he'd probably still start playing when he's like 11 then. If he's anything like his old man.
Very true. Very true. I've got a Beckett 9.5 Kobe Bryant signed card. It's from Upper Deck. It's a Franchise Faces card. Oh, yeah. Really beautiful card. It's numbered 1125. Sold $4,296.
It's not a bad get on a Kobe.
Yeah, for sure.
Are these USD prices, by the way?
USD.
Yeah.
USD prices. I saw that and I thought, like a numbered Beckett 9.5, like expected to go for a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know. Kobe's a tough one as well, though. It's an auto, right? Though?
Yeah.
It's got a signature. So, yeah, don't know. I mean, it's an interesting climate right now as well. I feel like whilst there is a lot of money in the hobby, and we'll touch on it shortly, I feel like a lot of that money, though, is going into Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon's absolutely rolling at the moment. When you look through Goldin, you do see a lot of Kobe, so I reckon they came across a pretty big Kobe collection.
Yeah.
And it was part of that because, when I was looking through the sales, it was like, oh, there's a few choices there. I just went for the card that I thought looked the best. So that's why I chose that one. I've got, for $3,050 USD, I've got a Miles Morales 8 of 10. It's a PSA 8.
Is this the Metal Universe one?
Yeah, Metal Universe. It's one of the green. And I saw that TikTok guy that does the AI Miles Morales and like he's winning all these awards and stuff. It's a cool looking card. It's something different, but that's the set that Steve Aoki on Goldin Auctions was going for. Remember when they had the complete set and he was looking at buying it? But that one card, $3,000.
Yeah, they've really started to pop off of late. Marvel's obviously a behemoth, but they are doing they've done a secret lair drop and they're doing, I believe there is a set as well for Magic the Gathering next year, which is going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, they've also got the Marvel game that's only recently dropped not that long ago, Marvel Universe, I think it is. It's like the 5-on-5 player, which is massive at the moment. Pretty much the same thing as Overwatch.
I did not know that.
And that is so popular at the moment.
Is that on like Steam or something?
No, it's on Xbox, PlayStation, PC.
What?
So yeah.
To check it out.
You can go through like pick your heroes and yeah, it's absolutely massive at the moment.
Yeah, definitely want to check that out.
I've got a good one here for you. This one's for me, all right? This is the GOAT. And I will happily...
You already did the GOAT.
I will happily argue this till the cows come home. So this one is a BGS 9, but the auto is a 10. It's a Roger Federer Leaf Sports Kings Blue, $2,076.
I'm not going to argue with you.
The GOAT.
Yeah. When it comes to knocking a hairy yellow ball around a hard court or a clay court or a grass court, I think they're the only ones. He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, Djokovic has won more Grand Slams. I get that.
I hate that guy.
But Federer, through his prime, had Nadal in his prime, who's the greatest clay court player of all time. He took like 9 French Opens.
Yeah.
And watching Federer, the one-handed backhand, it's poetry.
Yeah.
Absolute poetry.
Nah, Fed's the GOAT.
Federer will always have a spot on this podcast. Anytime
such a humble and kind player.
Yeah.
Especially if you compare him to like others like Djokovic that are playing at the moment. Like, I find some players hard to watch, but I would always watch Fed in the Oz Open.
Yeah, for sure. And he's got his beautiful wife as well. Remember, they come here and they always just show childhood sweethearts kind of thing. Federer's just the best.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to finish with a Pokemon. For $982 USD, I have a Legendary Collection Pikachu Rev Foil PSA 9.
Seems cheap. Not cheap.
980 USD. What's that, about $1,400?
That's probably on par, I guess.
For a PSA 9.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But the Legendary Collection's so nice. It's the
because I reckon you'd sell a not damaged, but like a played reverse Holo Pikachu for like $400 raw.
Yeah.
Paying about $1,400 for a 9. Probably not far off.
Nah.
And it's probably like $2,500 or something to 10.
It's the one master set I wish I had, or I continued when I was younger, because those red foils look so good.
I don't know if they look so good.
You don't like them?
I didn't say that. I just don't know if they look so good.
Oh, mate, they look great in person. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they look cool. I don't know if they look so good.
And the print runs were super low at that stage because Pokemon wasn't popular.
Doesn't mean it looks any better because the print run was lower.
They're harder to find. I think that kind of plays into it a bit for me too.
I don't mind them. I wouldn't buy them myself. I don't buy them myself.
Fair enough. That's your choice.
Yeah.
That's your opinion. Might be wrong, but
it could be.
Today's episode is brought to you by CollectFest, Australia's new and biggest collectibles festival, held here in Melbourne with over 300 stands, with many, many more to come. We've got some big exhibitors like the Royal Australian Mint, King Comics, Luna Cards, Anime Works, and many, many other small businesses.
These events are going to be held at the premier convention centres in each city and encompassing all collectibles from comics, video games, gaming, sneakers, trading cards, toys, and much more. If you can collect it, it will be there. Gary Hayes, King Pokemon, courtesy of CollectFest and us here at the Hobby Podcast, is actually going to be at the Melbourne show, and we have some super exciting announcements to come. You're not going to want to miss Gary's first trip down under. Melbourne, 5th to 6th of July, 2025. Brisbane, 26th to 27th of July. Sydney, 23rd to 24th of August.
So make sure you jump online, grab your tickets at collectfest.com.au. That's collectfest.com.au, and don't miss out.
This is going to be a phenomenal beginning for a new convention in Australia. I mean, the one in Melbourne is going to be held at the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre. So we're super, super excited for that. We look forward to seeing you there. We will be there.
All right, guys, that's it for Goldin News this week. We are going to jump straight into some Pokemon, Dino.
There is so much news in the world of Pokemon at the moment.
Let's go with the pocket game first, and then we'll go into the sets that are out at the moment, because we did a bit of a run through play on the Pokemon TCG Pocket, and they've just announced the new Mythical Island set, which is an extra 80 cards in. I've just got a few numbers here for you. So far through the first 2.5 months, they've already had 60 million downloads, which is a shitload of people playing.
That is a lot of people.
They've already made $250 million from the app.
Just because they were short on money.
So what's that? Like $4 a person, $4.50 a person. Every person that downloads the app, $4.50 for a free app. Not bad. But it is like going through, it's been playing it at the moment has been so fun because they're really, really good at promoting the play side of it, which I remember.
I know, because all you and Gabe do is blow up one of our group chats. Like, talk amongst yourselves. Get out of the group chat. We don't care how many heads or tails you flipped on a Celebi last game. Like, you're literally crushing one group chat. I muted it because I was sick of hearing about you two just playing the game. So it's obviously going well, clearly. But
the reward to play that they've got in terms of being able to open more packs and emblems and stuff, it's so good. It is so goddamn fun.
I have not played a single game on that. I reckon I open 2 packs maybe every 4 days when I remember.
And that's it.
I've just been too busy, bro. You know that.
You know, trading comes out in January. You've got to be opening your packs.
I haven't hit a single video card yet either.
Well, I'll sell you one. Because when trading comes out, that's what's going to happen. People are going to sell their cards.
That's fine. I'm not buying them.
It will happen. But yeah, the app, I don't know. They're really good to it doing like different promos that drop as well. So there's like different promo cards that come out through the events. So, you know, you go through and do like a bit of a training storyline through the play as well. So yeah, it's been pretty good to start off with. But
no, look, yeah, and a lot of people are talking about it. People come to the shop and they talk about it all the time. Like, there's no doubt. Those numbers as well, like numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Right? So it's popping off. But yeah, I just haven't had the chance all the time to really do it myself.
Yeah. Well, you were saying earlier that you know, like a lot of people are looking at Pokemon at the moment. So they've launched the online app, but also we have to talk about Terrestrial Festival and how good that's been of a set so far and what we've seen. Yeah. I know you've opened a bunch of it on live streams. We've seen it in the stores where, you know, they're not lasting on shelves. You know, orders have gone from $85 a box, $80 a box, up to $120, $125. The set's pretty unbelievable. They've definitely finished 2024 with a bang.
I mean, as soon as we knew about it, we always knew what it was going to be. It's evolutions, mate. Like, you know, they've kind of almost exhausted the Charizard tax and found an absolute winner on evolutions. So, you know, if they want my money, they need to print more Rayquazas. But, you know, in the meantime, like evolutions as a whole, you know, there's just such a big collector base that appreciates them. I think it's because they're cute. They're dogs. There's all these different types. That's what people like about them, you know. But yeah, the set is fun to open. Like guaranteeing a SAR in every box, and then putting in demigod packs that give you 3 SARs, and then the god pack that has all 9 evolution SARs. It's just mind-boggling, blowing. It's crazy.
Yeah, plus the chance of Master Balls as well.
Yeah, they've got those Pokeball. I think the Pokeball ones are the demigod packs, I think, where you open it up and it's like all the first like 6 cards or 7 cards of Pokeballs. Then you get it. Oh no, the first must be it would be the first 6, and then the 7th is a Master Ball, and then the last 3 cards are all SARs. That's like the demigod pack.
That's still a cool pack. Those cards in person look great.
They look great. I saw today that the population for the Umbreon SAR in a PSA 10 is already above 1,800.
In like less than 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is so people would pull the card straight off the grading.
It's Moonbryon 2.0, brother.
Yeah.
And I reckon I would have seen at least 10 come through the store to get graded as well.
Holy crap. Have you we spoke a few episodes ago about this set coming up and whether it was going to be the next Evolving Skies or not. Now that you've seen the set in person and you've seen the hype around it and just the demand, do you think it's the next Evolving Skies? You think it's taken that spot? Because I know you were a bit on the fence and were a little bit bullish on it at the start. But after seeing it in hand and knowing the English set comes out in about 3 weeks' time, was it the 17th of Jan or the 20th? Like 17th. Yeah. And seeing the pre-orders for English and the demand and just the stock that people need, do you sit there and go, oh, no, this is 100% the next Evolving Skies?
I still find it hard to see a holiday set do what a core set can do. Like in that sense of Evolving Skies, right? Like Evolving Skies boxes right now are about $1,500. Somebody sold a case the other day for like $9,000, which is just insane for a set that is what, 2.5 years old.
Yeah,
is crazy. But the problem is for whatever reason, nobody can seem to get their hands on Prismatic Evolutions. That wasn't really a problem when Evolving Skies came out. It became a problem further down the line afterwards. Like a lot of people had it early. A lot of people opened it early. There was boxes everywhere. I was buying boxes for $230. Like, you know, it wasn't hard to get. Prismatic is a completely different beast because every store that I've spoken to has all the bigger stores like ours that I've spoken to, we all have basically the exact same allocation. So I don't know where the product is. I don't know if Pokemon have short printed it, if they say they're going to slow roll it for 9 months and release products over the period of 9 months. They initially said that when they put it out anyway. So we know there's going to be it continue to come, but there's just not, I don't know if there's ever going to be enough of it. I had hoped that would be the case, but from what I'm seeing now that we got our allocations and stuff and the discussions we're having with our distribution partners and whatnot, I am concerned that like, I don't think it could be Evolving Skies from the sense that that was such a big set. Like we're selling a full set in store and I haven't never sat there and looked at a whole set, and I did the other day, and just so many full arts, V alt arts, V max alt arts. Like it was a monstrous set, had like something for everyone. You so quickly to forget about the Dragonite alternate art in there, right? Because you got the Rayquazas and then all the evolutions and all that stuff. Like it was a banging set. There was heaps in there. Whereas, you know, Prismatic is a holiday set, so it is smaller. It is a smaller set. So yeah, I don't know. That's what everybody wants to know. Is it going to be the next Evolving Skies? I mean, it might be by default because you just can't get your hands on it.
Yeah.
So the demand is going to be through the roof. I saw that in America right now. I think it was ETB or Pokemon Center ETB pre-orders were already at like $200 a box.
Wow, that's crazy.
It must be the Pokemon Center ETBs with $200, which is about $380 for an ETB. So somebody's obviously bought them, got them when they put them up months ago or a month ago or whatever, and now is selling their pre-order at that price, which means, you know, this could be, you will see, I guarantee you will see on the day of or the day after of release, you will see Prismatic Evolution ETBs all over Facebook for sale for like $200.
It's bad for the hobby. It's bad for the hobby when people can't get their hands on products.
You know, the problem is, bro, the problem is like even us as a store, if we sold all of the products at RRP, there would be people that would buy it off us and would go sell it for double the next day. Why do they get to do that? You know, when we're the ones that have to buy $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of an item at a time. As a company, right? I'm not saying that I want or that like stores should be scalping, but why is it okay for other people to do that? So like we are doing it completely different, where we're going to break down products into packs and create some bundles so that everybody that shops through us will be able to get their hands on some of the product. Because if we just sold like 30 ETBs on that night, that was the other thing I was thinking about too, is just slicing the back of them and being like, yeah, you can have an ETB, take the shrink wrap off, there you go. Like, and so that way people can't take them and then just go sell them for double or triple the day after.
Yeah.
Because that's bad for the hobby, but it's just the reality. And it really comes down to stores on how can we sort of manage that.
Yeah. Because you can't really, like, allocation. As a collector, I don't even have the ability to get 2 ETBs at the moment. Like, that's the allocation is that tough. As a collector, I'm not even going to get to sit down.
Let me jump in for a sec. As a store owner, I don't have any for myself.
Yeah.
Me and the boys have not kept any for ourselves. Every item we are getting in, we are selling to our customer base.
Yeah, and you're
right, and we own the bloody shop.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's how tight the allocation is.
Yeah.
You know, we always put the business before ourselves. So, you know, that's how you know it's gonna be mayhem.
Yeah.
We're doing a midnight launch that night. and it's going to be packed.
Yeah.
I'm thankful I won't be there because I'll be here about to stream. I'll be streaming that night, and I've got packs that will be streaming on Whatnot. So, it's what do you think? What do you think after me monologuing there? Do you think it's the next Evolving Skies?
After seeing 1,800 PSA 10s already under a month in the Japanese set, after seeing the prices of what happened with those Japanese boxes and knowing how desired the English set is, absolutely, because the product's beautiful, right? The product itself in hand is amazing, and it's a really nice set. Now, it doesn't have the width of an Evolving Skies, but in comparison to what we've had the last year and a half, it definitely, like, even 151, like, it's going to jump 151 as far as like what the cards look like.
Yeah,
maybe not like the cool Pokemon with the Charizard, Blastoise and stuff like that, but still the evolutions are going to demand it. And I know as a collector, I'm already super disappointed because, I know you said they're going to slow roll over 9 months the product out, but, there's nothing better than sitting down with a case of ETBs with 5 friends and cracking them and, having a few drinks. Like, there's going to be none of those moments. It's going to be, I walked into the local, Kmart and I found 2 packets sitting there. Like, that's going to be my experience, which is going to be really crap because Evolving Skies, to your point, I never had that. Yeah. Evolving Skies, we got a case of Evolving Skies, and then I think I opened another 3 or 4 booster boxes over the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And you could find the 3-pack blisters and you could find the single packs, but this is just going to be stupid. This is going to be the worst side of the hobby you see because people, to your point, are going to be selfish. And like if set release is Saturday, you'll have people outside every store at like 4:35 a.m.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the midnight launch that we do on the 16th is going to be chaos.
Yeah.
It's going to be chaos. And I don't even know, even when because Chris and I have been discussing like the bundles and what we're going to try and do. We're going to work in some prismatic packs with terrestrial packs to like try and, bump up the value as well. But
you can't sit there and sell 5 ETBs to one person and have 4 people.
And we're not going to.
And have 4 people miss out. But what you're going to have is you're not going to have 4 people miss out. You're going to have 20 people. So I actually like the way that you guys are, because you haven't done this before.
No.
There's never been a set where you've had to sit there and go, okay, our allocation, we want to make sure everyone gets at least 5 packs. So we have to break the product down and not just give away ETBs or sell cases of ETBs to people.
Yeah.
Shrouded Fable, you still got Shrouded Fable everywhere, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
this is different.
This is very, very different. And we only pre-ordered out a very small amount, but it ended up being a significant amount of the allocation that we actually received in the end.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be an interesting time. I know that me and the boys at Luna are going to do everything we can to make it the best possible outcome it could be for our customers. But yeah, it'll be interesting to sort of see what Pokemon does, because whilst Prismatic does come out in January, Battle Partners is right behind that and Team Rocket's right behind that. So, it's going to be a steamroller of hot sets in 2025 to kickstart the year. And I just hope that, and it might be why, is because Prismatic is a holiday set. Battle Partners and Rocket are supposed to be core sets. So they might be different experiences, because they're full sets and not holiday sets. So, yeah, who knows? We're just going to have to sort of keep the finger on the pulse for those ones as they come up. But yeah, Prismatic Evolutions, oh, God, it's going to be a hell of a ride.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for a lot of people out there.
Well, just make sure you follow Luna Cards on Whatnot and you can buy some packs at midnight. I don't know what I'm going to do. For Surging Sparks, I did bundles and I did them as buy it nows and they sold out like instantly. I don't know if I'll do the same or if I'll just run auctions and be like, you can just decide. Like, then it's, if you want it, buy it. If you don't. Like, I don't know. It's a tough one because I don't want to put up bundles and someone instantly buy 10 bundles.
And then,
whereas if I do an auction, it gives other people a chance to at least have a shot at trying to buy it, as opposed to someone just going bang, buy all.
For sure. And then you don't also...
You know what I mean? Because obviously it might go higher if it's an auction, but at the same time, then the buyers have more of a chance as opposed to me putting a bundle up for, say, $60 and you get 5 of each pack or whatever.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stop the first person going like and just get like 15 or 20 of them. I might only have 15 or 20 of them and then buy them all.
Yeah, yeah.
Which if happened, I would just go and cancel it anyway. I wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let that slide. But yeah, so I was still trying to work that out. Like, never had to do this on a set before. It's just nuts.
Well, you've also, like, from a collector seller, there's also, like, you're conscious where, yeah, you might have a bundle of 3 packs and you're like, what's retail on them? Like $21, $22?
Yeah, the average retail for a pack, but a holiday set's usually a little bit more.
A bit more, like $10 each.
So a core set's like usually $7.
Yeah.
Holiday sets are like $9 to $10 a pack.
Sure. So let's say
so
$30.
Like it should be $30 circa for 3 packs.
Yeah.
Like should be kind of where it should be. And I'm obviously concerned that, they would sell for more than that.
Yeah. Like, the demand's there and it's not there. So if it sells for $45, $50, you go, that's what people want. They can't get product. But if it starts getting stupid up $75, $80, then you're like, as a seller, you're like, where does my responsibility come now? Because selling 3 packs at $80 helps no one. Like, yeah, it's a bit of extra money in your pocket.
Yeah, it's not what we want either.
But it's not what the hobby wants.
And I'm the first to say that on Whatnot. I'm like, this card's damaged. Don't get stupid. Like, give me more than $1 for it because it's worth more than $1. But, don't pay $20 for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and yeah, same with packs. Most of the time, they go for sort of where they sit or just a little bit over because people, want to buy it. They want to crack it or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. It's something that Chris and I in particular have spoken a lot about, just trying to navigate the best way to approach it so that our customers are happy. Because at the end of the day, like, that's what we want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking.
The good thing is Terrestrial Festival will be printed to the absolute moon. It's a hot Japanese set, and that's what they do with them these days because they're trying to stop the scalpers. Yeah. It's not working. They just ship it all out still anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that ship them overseas too without the shrink wrap on. I've started seeing that more and more, where they rip the shrink wrap before it gets sent across.
Yeah.
That's a thing as well. So,
yeah. Yep, it's going to be an interesting start to Pokemon in 2025.
For sure. Mate, I just want to quickly touch on Flesh and Blood because January is going to be Pokemon for the most part. Yes, Pokemon is everywhere.
2025, brother, is going to be Pokemon for the most part.
Yeah.
You won't hear much from me in terms of like One Piece and other stuff. Like, there's a few things that already fallen off. Remember we used to talk about Star Wars Unlimited?
Yeah.
That's really slowed down.
Yeah. And look, for sure. One Piece has been slow recently. Yu-Gi-Oh's been pretty slow as well. So, but I do want to just touch on Flesh and Blood because The Hunted comes out at the back end of January. The new set announced, very heavily based towards ninjas and assassins. And I say it every time I talk about Flesh and Blood, but the artwork just keeps getting better and better. I'm excited for...
We'll get JP to put a picture of the box here.
Right now.
Because it actually looks sick. It's the first like fab box that you've sent me and I'm like... I mean, Rosetta was cool too, but like this one, I was like, oh, this looks...
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
This is etched into like Japanese...
It kind of reminded me like Wolfenstein when I first saw it. Like those old video games, like Duke Nukem and Wolfenstein?
There's a throwback I haven't
Kinda
heard
like
in a
when
while.
I saw the box, I was like, ooh, that looks like... Because remember when PC games used to come in these huge boxes?
Yeah.
And you'd open it up, it had a book and a tiny like floppy disk or a CD in it. But they made this massive box that they used to put it on the shelf in.
Yeah, this is a box that they've gone over and above with. They'll look really good on the shelf, but the set, the few cards, like I said, I don't really like spoiling the set too much because I like to open the product and experience it for the first time. But I have caught a few of the Marvels that are out.
He's quit.
They look so good, man. They look so good. I might have to.
Are you not in like a Fab group chat where they just shoot all that stuff through anyway?
Yeah, but the Fab group chat is like a comment every minute of every hour, and you just can never catch up on it. So
yeah.
But I think I might sell one of my Sword and Shield sets so I can go and get a case of it because I haven't opened.
What Sword and Shield set?
Maybe Astral Radiance.
What else have you got?
So I've got Silver Tempest, I've got Crown Zenith, I've got Evolving Skies, I've got Celebrations, I've got Darkness Ablaze is gone. I sold that on Whatnot.
That was funny.
Yeah. Vivid Voltage. And then I've got like half a Lost Origin. But
what's Silver Tempest worth as a master set?
About $1,000.
Do me a better deal.
It's got the Lugia in it though.
Do me a better deal.
Yeah.
$1,200.
$1,200.
I said a better deal. see the shit I got to deal with. You guys have no idea.
No, I think it's about $1,000.
I'll give you $650.
I'd do $750. I'd give you $750.
How much is? I'll just buy you a case of Fab and trade you.
No. Well, how much is a case of Fab?
Doesn't matter.
You need
that's
to buy me
that's what you wanted to sell it for. I'll swap you.
two cases of Fab, and
I'll give you 6 boxes.
No, 8.
6.
No, because then the hit's going to be in the 2 that I don't buy off ya, and I'm just going to be really pissed.
We will revisit it. I'll see what our cost is.
I think Silver Tempest for $750 at 75% market rate. That's what I'd do for you.
Well, I like Silver Tempest, and I never pulled a Lugia, so I might as well buy the whole set.
You're going to buy the stupid seagull, are ya?
Yeah.
That's unlike you.
Dude, my Rayquaza collection is popping off.
I was going to say.
You know, I'm up to... I put more because I got a sub return back the other day. I like 46 slabs now, and I've still got like probably 30 away getting graded.
Mate, like 6 months ago, you didn't have a single Pokemon card. Man,
I've gone so hard. I wanted them back. I just regretted it one day. You know what actually happened is I bought one on eBay, and I was like, and it arrived, and I was like, I'm back, baby. Back. And then after that, now I'm at like, what I say, 45, 46 slabs or something. It's crazy.
0 to 100 real quick, man. Real quick.
Classic Shmino.
So you're almost done with the raise. Now it's time to go to your next one, which can be Lugia.
Well, what I did last time is I got one of every Ray artwork, whereas this time I'm going for a graded copy of every Ray card ever.
Okay.
So that's all English, Japanese. I've even got a couple of Chinese ones that I've already bought.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Okay.
So just one graded copy of every Rayquaza card that they'd ever printed.
Love that. Well, the Pokemon Weekly I got you would have helped you along a bit.
Yeah, I still want to buy the holo one back. I can't believe I ever let that go.
That was a 10, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was 9 and it was graded by like MCG or something. Some random English company. So I don't know where that is. I've tried to find it. I can't find it. I found a couple of raw copies, but they want like $1,500.
Yeah, it's expensive.
I'm like, yeah, but there's no sales to back that up.
What did you sell it for? Do you remember?
I sold it for like $800. $800 or $1,000.
A few years ago.
Yeah. But it was still a hot market then too. It was before the start of the Scarlet and Violet like dip.
Yeah.
You know, it was still hot back when I sold it. So I will get one of those. But yeah, I almost dropped to 2,200 on this damage like Japanese promo. It's from this like rare set over in Japan. Shout out to Big Shez, Cameron Sheridan. He was over there. And we tried to get a deal done, but they just don't bargain or like barter at all in Japan.
Right.
And
the price is the price.
Yeah. And I think we're about $600 apart in the end. I think they wanted 2,600 and sort of got to almost 21 or 22. And I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Because there are other copies out there. And I don't care if it's a PSA one to start off with. Like, you know, I just want a full graded set of every Rayquaza card that they've ever done.
Cool. So,
yeah, I'm just chipping away at that. And then I'm just going to hold on to them this time, Gabe. I'm not going to sell them to you like I did last time. That's how funny is that? That's how me and Gabe met. I sold him my Rayquaza collection the first time. Come over to my house in Elwood and bought it all off me. And now we own a business together. Isn't that crazy? That's how I met Tannis too. He came to Elwood because I bought Aquapolis Lugia off him for a friend. So Chris came to my house and I met him. And then I shipped it down to my buddy in Tasmania.
That's awesome.
In COVID. Isn't that wild?
Good stories. Good stories.
It's crazy. Just like when you DM'd me, hey, legend.
Hey, legend.
Hey,
Logan loved that when you told him that story. He's just like, oh, God. Of course you did.
So the Haunted, sorry, Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, I know.
You were talking about trading in a master set.
Yeah.
For a case.
Lugia for 2 cases, yeah. 2 cases.
We'll work something out.
That would be fine. That'll work out about $100. But yeah, the set's going to look awesome. I did get very fortunate this Christmas. I got a new deck box that fits 4 decks inside of it.
Very nice.
And I've only got 2 Flesh and Blood decks. So I'm kind of looking at going to look at the play style of these new heroes that are coming out.
Yep.
And maybe start to put together a new deck because I've got my slow grind Guardian deck, quite block, big attack kind of thing. And then I've gone with an Arcane / melee deck, but these assassins are very, quick and they go really wide, 1 type damage. So I kind of looking for a different play style, and the artwork in this set is, like I said, it's the best that they've done. So it'd be great to have these cards.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I like living vicariously through you with Fab.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice when you taught me how to play at PAX. I was like, this is actually a fun game. But yeah, time does not permit me to enjoy another TCG.
Yeah,
at the moment.
Nah, you're super busy. I'm going to go on the podcast now, and I'm going to let you know one of my 2025 goals when it comes to Flesh and Blood.
God, here we go.
By the end of this year, at either a Pro Quest or a call-in, I want to have a top 8 finish. That is my goal.
Me and the hobbyists are behind you. You are going to have to work a lot harder than you do right now.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Top eight ain't no joke. It ain't no game, bro.
Nah, the player base here in Melbourne, in Oz, is unbelievable. But if I can play smart, and I'm kind of thinking that, before bed, I kind of want to do a bit of reading. If I use that as an opportunity to, educate myself more on the game and learn, that I get a better understanding of other people's decks. And maybe instead of playing one game a week, I play 3 a fortnight and just pick up an extra night, maybe when Ali's at work. Then I can get into more games. They have an
online client?
They do.
That's all you need to do, dude.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
They've got the online client, but the people in person, the people in person.
Yeah, but this is where you're going to go wrong. If you really want to get there, you need to utilize the online client, because games are so much quicker. In an hour, you could play more than you will in person.
Yeah, probably play
because
2 games in.
So much more automated. Like, that's just coming from somebody who has played other games competitively. That is the key.
Yeah,
it's
a good shout. Got to jump on Talisha and play a bit more.
Yeah. So speaking of competitive play, I will dip into Lorcana, because finally the first competitive event is here on 1st and 2nd of Feb. So got my ticket to that. It was like $80 to just go get my butt whooped. But I'm not going to. I'm going to play. I'm gonna grind throughout that back half of January. Probably I'm gonna do like a 3-week grind, I reckon. Pick it up sort of mid-Jan, and then just really smash it out, go there and see what happens.
Okay. What type of tournament is it? Is it like a regionals type thing?
Nah, it's like the Oceania Championship.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. When it gets like a whole trophy and shit.
Cool.
It's hectic.
Cool.
It's at Dockland, Marvel Stadium. Yeah.
And so $80, and does everyone get like a participation promo?
Yeah, you always
card?
get something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And the winner gets like a full set of like these player enchanted cards and stuff. Like, you get some cool stuff. So yeah, that's my newfound love.
Okay.
Lorcana. I mean, I've always liked Lorcana. I've talked about it a lot, but yeah, I've definitely stepped back from One Piece for the minute, especially in a competitive playing sense. Lorcana has my attention for the time being, and I think too, like, what I like about Lorcana is Harry is, he'll be watching Disney movies over the course of next year and the year after that, and all that sort of stuff. Even though right now we're watching Pokemon Journeys together. He doesn't really understand it, but
Daddy's liking it.
Yeah, I want him to. I want to be able to enjoy those things with him, and then when he sees the cards, he knows what it is.
Yeah,
I give him a pack of Pokemon cards now, and he thinks it's the best thing on the planet because it like makes noise and he ruffles it and holds it in his hand. He's got no idea what it is, but he looks happy.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Do you have a deck yet, or have you got to build?
I've got a deck built, but it's not relevant for the meta right now. It's not far off. I need to add a few cards into it. But yeah, I'm not too phased on that. I'll pay whatever I have to pay to get the cards I need to build the deck. It's just about jumping on, because there is another online client somebody was telling me about. It's like not Pixelborn, because they made them shut that down, but there's something else that you can do. Or I think it's on Pixelborn now. You just play like webcam. So yeah, don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll grind it out. But yeah, that should be a fun way to kick off.
Yeah,
2025.
Lorcana's in a weird spot at the moment, because we went to PAX and the Lorcana booth and the people playing Disney Lorcana was busy the whole weekend. There was hundreds and hundreds of people. But outside of that, like in the store and on the forums and stuff, it's very quiet. And
look, I think, not to throw anyone under the bus, but distribution rights and things like that play a big part as well, and who they decide to link up with and actually push the game out. There's a difference in just sending a game out to stores that order it and then actually, providing reasons for stores to run certain events and help the game grow and all that. I know for us in particular, Lorcana's going to have a heavier presence in our shop in 2025. We want to push it because it is going to be, it's here. Lorcana's already on the map. It's Disney. It's massive. The game is great. You and I both played it for the first time at PAX and we got out of there and we're like, should we go again? Like, it was that much fun. So, it's really just up to the stores to sort of do it. And I'm going to make sure that Luna and myself are at the forefront of that and push it. So, that's why I signed up to a massive event and not even ever played one game. It's like, we can do this.
Is it open? Can I still sign up, or is it?
You might be able to, man. You might be able to. So the tickets sold out in 2 seconds.
Okay.
And it must have been bots because I literally at 9 o'clock tried to buy a ticket. It said sold out. I was like, what the F? So I joined the wait list, and then literally like 20 minutes later, they're like, oh, spots opened up. You can buy a ticket.
Right.
So they must have, some bots, like international bots, probably bought them all, and then they've noticed that, and they just canned them all and opened them up to Aussies. Because that used to happen with One Piece at the start as well. So,
interesting.
Yeah. I think Matty Stanley, he got a ticket, and he was telling me like maybe a week ago that there were still tickets available. So maybe have a look after this.
Yeah. Maybe go
if there's
sign up. I'll come and join you.
It'll be fun.
We put a little bet on whoever finishes higher, maybe.
I'm totally down for that because I know that I got more TCG experience than you.
Oh man, you're gonna hustle hard at the back end of Jan. I got to start tonight, don't I?
There's probably still not enough time, brother.
I'll pick it up quick.
But yeah, I think that's it for the news. We could should we head over to the main topic and recap 2024?
Love it. Let's do it.
It was a massive year.
It was, mate. It was.
Do you remember the date we started this podcast?
The date. I know we launched our pilot episode about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
It was about.
That's all I know too.
I just did some really quick math of once a fortnight on our episodes. Went 8 months ago.
Yeah.
But we've been talking for it over 12 months now.
It was probably about this time last year, I reckon. Because usually, I don't know. It's always the end of the year when I sit back and reflect, and I look at what I've achieved, what I didn't achieve, and how I want to then achieve those or change or grow like in the next year. And it was the podcast, because I used to do the MetaZoo podcast. I can't remember when we finished that up. When did MetaZoo go bankrupt? That was the start of this year, wasn't it? So it would have been, maybe it was just about that time, pretty much literally like 12 months ago, I guess. But I remember doing the MetaZoo podcast and sort of saying to you, I was like, one day I reckon you and I should do a potty, but just cover everything. Because, I love MetaZoo, but hate being pigeonholed to any one thing.
Yeah.
It's like I love streaming. I love the podcast. I love running the shop. Like, I love all these different things. So I don't ever want to be pigeonholed to just like one thing.
We, our friendship began with 6-7 hour phone calls 5 times a week.
It began with you DMing me, "Hey, legend."
It started that way, but then it transitioned to about 30 hours a week on the phone,
which was nuts.
For the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And we were just covering all things.
Actually, remember, it was you reached out with "Hey, legend" because you wanted to have me on your podcast.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Collectible show and tell.
Yeah.
You were the Rayman.
I was.
You were the Rayman.
And that is the one episode that didn't, remember, it got deleted.
Yeah. It like bugged out and
And we redid it or something, and half of it only stayed up or something.
Instagram, man. So touchy. When it came to like ending it, like it like bugged out and something like that.
Yeah.
But
which is great because then like you guys can't ever go see Kearnsy trying to interview me about a Ray collection that I sold anyway. It doesn't exist.
That's right.
It'll just forever be yours and mine, our memory.
Our memory. That whole podcast was for nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're 21 episodes through now, and we thought it'd be good to just kind of reflect on some of our past episodes and maybe some of the challenges, some of the things we've learned so far, and some of the things that we're looking forward to. You know, we appreciate all the support that everyone has given so far over the first 10 months. You know, we're at almost 600 followers on YouTube now. The Instagram's got over 1,000 followers on it. And we've been able to transition what we love in the collectible space in terms of buying and selling and meeting other people. And we've been able to open up the podcast now to accessible to everyone. All it costs you is your time. You jump on for an hour and a half.
And I just mentioned Kearns there because, you know, I don't believe either of us really measure the podcast by how many subscribers or how many followers we do have. When you look at the guests that we've had on and the feedback that we've received, the things we're doing next year with this podcast and events and things that only you and I know about, like, you know, that's what I measure it on. Like, it's great that people like and comment, but, you know, our views quadruple the amount of people that actually subscribe to our channel.
100%, mate. We wouldn't have had the opportunities to sit down with some of these amazing guests and the guests we've got coming up without this podcast. So, you know, I think back to the pilot, to the first episode where we came in. We've never done this before.
I watched that like 3 weeks ago.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you remember the run sheet that we had for that first episode?
Yeah.
Like how
ages getting that stuff, all that stuff ready, and now it's like 4 dot points. It's like, we can do this. We know what we're doing.
4 dot points and just riffed.
Yeah.
It was, you know, it was a really early goal for us where we said, let's launch this first episode, and from there on, let's just try and find 1% every episode. Because if we find 1% and after 100 episodes, we're 100% better. Yeah. And we know that this journey is going to take 4 or 5 years until we get it to where we really want. And that's crazy for me to say when we've already interviewed some of the guests we've had, and next year is going to be like a massive year. But it's a slow journey for us. But going back to the pilot,
I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is going to take 4 or 5 years to get to where we want to be, because it took 8 months to get to where we thought we'd be in about 3 years.
Yeah, we've been
in all honesty, like just in terms of the caliber of guests that we've had on, I'd say the quality of the product that we put out, when I compare that to, you know, other content that's out there, like, I think we've spent the money and we definitely spend the time, you know, really producing what we think or what we feel is a good podcast. And I think, you know, I don't want to sell ourselves short. I feel like, you know, it's not going to take us 5 years to get to where we want to. I reckon one of those guests I told you before we started this would be like the goal guest. Like, when we got there, like, we know we've made it. I reckon I can make that happen next year. Well, this year, 2025.
Oh, I hope you can. I hope you can.
So, you know, like, I reckon we've come leaps and bounds, man. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad I get to do this with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much fun.
It's ridiculous, mate. I in my life, we sit down, we have an organized calendar that we do 2 months. That's my partner gets her work shifts for every 2 months. We sit down, we fill in our work and time, and then it's okay, where are we doing the podcast? Yeah. And, you know, like, that is the
only thing I put in my calendar.
That's the
the podcast.
It takes priority. Like, we prioritize this outside of family and work. We prioritize this over everything.
Yeah,
like, that's how much it means. And, like, there hasn't been a single moment so far in doing research in a guest or watching videos or finding, you know, topics for the channel where I've gone, this isn't fun. The whole time I've enjoyed it, you know. And we take this pilot episode where we jump in, and it got really great reception across. Like,
it really did, man. Like, for that episode, the first one we ever put out there to have 670 something views, was crazy. Like, so I don't post much on Facebook, right? I have Facebook and I use it for, like, group chats and Pokemon and all that stuff. But I remember, like, shaking before I posted, like, on my own wall for the first time ever, like, hey, this is a podcast that I'm doing, because, you know, I spent years in real estate and finance and all these other things, and now so many of my past colleagues would have no idea what I'm doing now, or that I was this like massive closet hobby nerd for like so long.
Yeah.
So it was such a big thing, and I remember putting that out there and seeing the reception from family and friends. I was like, what was I so scared of? Like,
Yeah.
this is great.
Again-
And like I said, when I watched that back, that episode was shaky. Like, you know, we survived.
Yeah, for sure. Mate, there's, you know, there's so much that goes into the episodes, you know, like we record for an hour and a half, but
At least.
there's probably 3 or
It
4
takes us like 4 hours.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 hours of prep before it, and then there's an hour to set up the studio and pack down the studio after it. JP is on the journey with us as well. You know, JP does all the edits, and it takes him 4 to 5 hours then to edit it together and put it together. It's a massive production to put this together. And we've just got the right people in the right places at the moment.
I think so.
I think that's what we're doing. And, you know, we dropped the pilot episode and we go, you know what, our format, we want to do, let's give people an update on where collectibles is at, what's happening in sets. Let's talk about things in the hobby. And then we're going to talk to other people in the industry. And so we decided to go with the format of a boys only episode followed by a guest for the most part.
Yeah.
And then we had Gary King Pokemon on.
I was so grateful that I had a previous relationship with Gary and was able to sort of go, hey, I've know you've been on a previous podcast of mine, which he was on my MetaZoo podcast. That was how mine and Gary's journey began. We met through MetaZoo. So I was grateful that when I reached out and said, hey, I've started a different podcast where we just cover all things about the hobby. Would you want to be the first guest? And Gary was like, what time?
Yeah.
He's like, you tell me when.
Mhm.
I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just meant that to follow up the pilot episode with somebody like Gary kind of just solidified that we weren't,
Yeah.
right? Like we're not just making content for the sake of making content, and we never will, you know? Like if we don't have something to say, then we won't say it. So it was good. It was good to have Gary on, and it was a great chat. I still learn things then, and I always do every time I see Gary, and I can't wait to see him next year when we bring him out for Collect Fest, which is going to be sick. More announcements coming, maybe later in the episode. But yeah, I learned something new from him every time, like a new story or something else. Like, you know, remember when you asked him, how did it start for him? And he said that he used to throw like a magnet on a string down the vending machine to collect bottle caps.
Yeah.
And he started collecting like bottle tops when he was a kid. And that just sort of sparked like his collecting journey.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you look at him now, it's just nuts.
He's known as the Pokemon guy, but he's been collecting his whole life across a variety of different things. Yeah, I was actually quite nervous for that episode because you know,
I'm nervous for every guest you.
Gary was a little bit extra nervous with being the first guest.
Well,
you
it
know.
was also, we were also only one episode in.
Yeah.
So no, I do recall that, and yeah, like you said, you hadn't met him before that episode. So
yeah, and it's also just as a, you know, like our guest episodes are so much more. There's so much more that goes into them than the boys only, because you've got to get them on like in through the stream, and sometimes there's technical issues. Like for most episodes, we've had 15 to 20 minutes of technical issues before we even start because mics aren't working or sounds refurbing, and
it's very difficult to have somebody on the other side of the planet like join in and it be right every time. The problem is every guest has a different setup.
Yeah.
You and I have this exact same setup every time, so we know how to set it up and it works. But then a guest jumps in with a different mic or a different headset or a different this or a different that, and it causes an issue. So, you know, it's great. We have plenty of bloopers. Maybe one day we'll roll them all. It'll just be me like,
it can be so frustrating. Frustrating.
We made them all work. Made them all work. I mean, while we're talking about bloopers, might as well shout out Thea, because hers was probably the hardest. You guys wouldn't have noticed, but in that episode, she had reverb in her headset the whole time. So she wasn't able to take out her own voice in her headset. So whenever she would talk, she would then hear herself on about a 5-second delay. And she absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, so
she
professional.
Absolutely crushed it.
So professional. You wouldn't have even known. Because
I can't wait to have her back on.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you watch Beast Games?
I haven't watched them yet, no. I'm waiting for them to all come out. I want to binge watch it all in one.
No, I'm sick of binging. I hate it. I really enjoy copping an episode a week.
A week, yeah. Nah, I'm gonna
because I'm binging Squid Games 2 right now. And I was waiting till like 11:45 last night, watching like the first 5 episodes. And I was like, do I watch the last one? I was like, nah, I'll watch it tomorrow. So I'll watch them tonight.
It's a tough time to try and get some TV with the holiday season at the moment. Between Yellowstone, Squid Games, Beast Games, there's
cricket. There's like it's so
you need to have those 4 screens up at once so you can watch them all at the same time.
Yeah. But Thea was our third guest because in between Thea and Gary we had Chris.
Yeah, Chris Sheridan from Cardio.
Yeah,
and that was a really insightful.
That episode deserves more love than I think it's gotten, but it is sort of tailored to a certain particular, like, it's not really one that just like a Pokemon collector is going to go sit down and watch, because we don't really talk about that.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about behind the scenes and business and all that sort of jazz. And that's what we want it to be, right? We do not want every guest episode to be the same questions, the same things, and it's different. We try to tailor everything to, each guest, and that's what we've done. So it doesn't surprise me that some episodes receive more views than other episodes, because it just means the demographic of our listening group prefer something over another, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. The world of the hobby isn't just Pokemon collectors. We had the Pokemon collector and Gary on, and then we went to the business side of things with Chris, and then streaming and Disney Lorcana with Tia. We've definitely tried to organize our guests so that it isn't that repetition of the exact same person.
Yeah.
And, after Tia, we followed up with Kimthecollector. So
look, no episode was my favorite episode, right? Can't say that. Can't have a favorite. But I had so much fun when we had Kim on.
Yeah.
It was good fun, a good laugh. And I'd never met Kim ever before that. You actually organised her as a guest as well, so I hadn't even spoken to her previously. Whereas I think I've organised every other guest, so thanks for that, Kearns.
We've all got our roles in the podcast, mate.
But that was actually like a really fun one. I think to be honest, with both Tia and Kim, the quizzes that you came up with for both of them, like, I really enjoyed. So, because I didn't know that exactly the ins and outs. You sort of showed me and I was like, we'll just see how they go.
Yeah.
And I think both girls really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're like fond memories from those episodes too.
It's one of those things where, when you're all listening in, like, I want to put on, like, I want the guests to have, the most fun and be the most authentic. So when researching our guests, it's great to find all these nuggets and try and put them in a tough spot where they have fun, because I remember Gary originally had the, original sketch Venusaur or a PSA, the only PSA 11 Charizard.
And he said the Venusaur.
He said the Venusaur because a lot of people don't know that that Venusaur card is his favorite card. Yeah. Everyone knows him as the Charizard guy, you know? And
everybody would have assumed that he was going to take that PSA 11 Charizard.
Yeah, but no, he took the Venusaur, you know, and then Tia, watching Tia's streams, we bought
reading her book.
We bought her book and read her book from start to finish. Like putting that time and effort into and respect into the guests to tailor them. They were great, and then Kim as well. Kim, Kim's very active and she's really great, like with nutrition and stuff like that. So how can we try and leverage collectibles and her love of EVs with things she loves doing in real life? Kim was from start to finish was so seamless. And
no, we've had some really, really good guests, both local and international. Jackson was great as well. Jackson, Caspersz. We still need that artwork.
Yeah.
Has he finished it yet?
He's been really busy.
I know he has, but I just want to see it. I'm so keen to see it.
Yeah, he's got the commission that he's doing for the podcast.
Which we'll give away to one of you guys at some point.
He ended up doing a lot more overseas shows.
Didn't he go to New Zealand for like a couple of weeks?
He went to New Zealand. He ended up going to. He either went to Singapore or
Jackson, if you're watching this, hurry up, all right?
We need it. But before Jackson, we had someone else involved in the art world. We had Mike Servati on. So that
was interesting, right? Because Sorcery at that point in time, it was right before Arthurian Legends released. And since Arthurian Legends released and they reprinted more beta stock, the world of Sorcery has like imploded. It's been a very interesting ride, like seeing it happens with every indie TCG, man. Fab went through the same thing. MetaZoo went through the same thing. Now Sorcery's going through the same thing. Like, there's just people out there that just want to see these games fail.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because what Mike does is very different to anything I'd ever seen in the TCG space before. Just because, there's so much art, like actual art, like hand oil painted art involved in Sorcery. And that's big money stuff.
Yeah, for sure. He provides the platform for the artists too, to help them to make this like their full-time job, like by supporting the artists and giving them a platform to celebrate them outside of just the cards. Like he's a godsend for that community, Sorcery is so lucky to have him and everything that they do there. From there, we did our first in-person guest episode live at the TCG Expo.
We did.
With Jolie, Kath, and Watto.
That was fun, man.
That was...
Never again. Well, I say never again, but we're doing some exciting stuff at Collect Fest, but we've got far more... We're more prepared for that. That's going to be different. We've got days to set up, prior to... We've got our own booth. Hot tip there, guys. Come past the Hobby Podcast booth. There's going to be exciting things there. It's where you'll find Gary all day, every day as well. And then we've got a couple of things on the main stage too, which I may or may not mention at the end. I might mention it. We'll see if we keep it in or not. But yeah, so that was so fun. Those guys are a vibe, man. The best part is they're all mates as well.
Yeah,
they'll run their own different channels and they're very different and do different things. But the fact that they were friends meant just when we put them in front of each other, like it was so much fun. Yeah. And we learned a lot. Like that was I think JP spent like 4 days editing audio from that because of all the acoustic sound.
Yeah.
God, that was a hard episode to put out, but probably, one of the funnest ones, like being in a room like that at the TCG Expo where it was pumping behind us and just chatting with those guys about, what they do.
Yeah, it was honestly, as far as experiencing that live show for the first time, it was the best experience we could have had. And I know JP's life was absolute hell in editing that episode, but we learned so much from there. And to your point, like it's not just those three; it's the whole group. Like the Australian content creators circle, they're like so tight, so close with each other. It was cool just to hang out with them for the day because we only recorded for an hour and a half. We took an hour to set up before and pack down. But we were there the whole day just kind of hanging out. We had the box break that day with the Legend Maker box. We're sitting there. Watto was gifted a pack for his birthday. Jolie, I think I spoke to Jolie more that whole day than I have like ever. And other than saying hi to Kath in passing, I'd never met her. So it was really, really good to meet her in person as well.
I think when we... I think in 2025, which is here's another tidbit for you guys, when we move into our permanent studio, it'll be great to have some of these local guests back and in the room, just sitting in the room with us like this, being able to, just go through it all again. Because, you could just get so much more like out of this environment as opposed to that environment.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, this year, 2025 is going to be a banger.
It's going to be huge. So then the opportunity arises for us to interview Charlie. And we spoke about it briefly at the start as one of our more recent episodes. But for the first time, we decided to break the, boys only.
We broke the cycle for you, Charlie.
We broke the cycle because we were fortunate enough to chat with Charlie. And MetaZoo was where it all began for us, really. Well, as far as past the friendship of just being mates.
Well, MetaZoo's where we started a business together, but it's also where I started my first podcast.
Yeah.
So, and I said it in that one, I've said it at other occasions as well, like we owe MetaZoo something.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, it was a privilege to be only the second people on the planet to sit down with Charlie regarding MetaZoo and have a good in-depth conversation and to be able to get new information for the community as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If you think Charlie wasn't big enough, we follow him up with Logan Head.
Logan Head, the co-founder of Whatnot.
Yeah.
$4 billion business.
$4 billion USD business, co-founder, CTO of Whatnot.
Yeah.
And,
who again was like God, just trying to for him to carve out some of his time, and he gave us more than, his assistant told us he would.
Yeah.
We were trying to watch the clock and like try and get everything out. But that was phenomenal. Like, we met Logan when they came to Australia. You and I just hit it off with him, and through those sorts of events and putting ourselves in the right rooms, like, meant that we were afforded that opportunity.
Yeah, 100%.
Because otherwise we might not have been.
Mm-hmm.
So, very, very blessed and very, very grateful for what we've been able to achieve. My only concern, I wouldn't even say concern, right? It's just we've set the bar so high in the first year. Like,
8 months.
Be prepared to work next year, because we got to get some. We've got some big guests already lined up.
Yeah.
But we as a couple, as a duet, we're gonna have to go grind next year to really just keep lifting this podcast
and elevating. Yeah, for sure. The 1% better, where I can tell you all that we are going to hold ourselves pretty accountable this year, because you said, like, you've got the guests, like, there's areas that I have to really own this year in order to put on the best product for you all, moving forward. We spoke a lot about our guests there and how fortunate we are. And then there's also the other side of it, where we have the boys only episode, and we get to talk about just collectibles and what's out. And like, there's so many people now that I talk to that say, I watch your episode every fortnight because I find out on the latest sets and what's coming up. And, they're not sure whether to buy into a new set or not. And then we sit there and cover it. And like, that process is great for me too, because I don't get to collect as much anymore. Yeah. But I sit there and I go and do research on the new Fab set or the new Pokemon set or whatever is kind of the news going on. Like Goldin, eBay buys Goldin, and there's all these like massive stories that go on. Yeah. And we're lucky to be able to share that with people.
No, I agree. It's also the most time you and I get to spend together.
Yeah, it is. It is
like
now.
in this in the world that we live in now. Yeah. The most minutes we get would be behind these mics with each other.
Yeah, for sure. And we get to spend the time in the room, but we also want all you the hobbyists, to come on the journey as well. Like, we have the Hobby Heroes segment,
which needs to be utilized more.
Every boys only episode, like, you can just call in and ask questions.
You guys really should. You should just call in and hang shit on us, whatever you want. Like,
there hasn't been a single call yet that we have not answered on the show.
No, every call that has made it. Every call has made it. So
yeah, for sure. It's it's just one of those things that we thought we wanted to kind of touch base on this and talk about this a little bit, because sometimes you can move at pace. And it's good to look back. And also, like, if you're listening to this now and you're new to the podcast, like, go back and listen to some of those previous guest episodes, because, like I said, there's something for business, there's something for art, there's something for the collector. Like, there's a little bit of everything sprinkled
through. There's some
through.
great insight, like,
Yeah.
Thea had some top quality points. Like, it just even, the struggles and the trials and tribulations, like in South Africa, like that she was telling us about, like the power and all that stuff. Like, just opens your eyes up, man. It's a game changer.
That's huge world out there. Huge world out there.
Yeah.
So moving into 2025, Dino, what are you most excited for the potty?
I'm excited for all of it, because I know a couple of things we already have like scheduled in and coming up. But I think we're going to have a really good time with the things that we've got organised with Collect Fest. Mm. I'm really, really proud and grateful for those boys to work with us in bringing Gary out, which was a goal or a dream of ours that we promised Gary we would try and get him to a show in Australia at some point as a friend. So we managed to do that. And there's going to be a few things that go along that weekend in Melbourne that I think will just be like memories for like life, like real top quality memories. So I'm really excited about that part of the hobby podcast in 2025.
Yeah, it's the work that we're going to be doing there is it's going to be really, really exciting.
Yeah,
really exciting. I'm excited to continue to just get on like more interesting guests from all around the world, hear more stories, and then start to get some of our early guests back to some of those people that like put their faith in us early. Go back and revisit another episode with Gary. Go back and do another.
We're definitely doing an episode with Gary when he's here.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
So that's already going to happen. But
go back and do another episode, to your point, with Watto and Kath and that.
Yeah.
And like see where they're at now. We know everyone's got goals and everyone's lives kind of change, but where are they kind of heading to, And also the prospect of being in a full-time studio, like having
there's nothing wrong with this one. It's just like it'd be nice to have everything ready, roll in, just turn everything on, press record, and then finish up. Take your mics and your stuff like your SD cards and that out, and just walk out. Which we're going to get to. I promise you. I'm working on it.
We will get
in the meantime, here we are in my house. Not that you guys know, because it looks great. It's like a studio, right?
Yeah, there's not cardboard boxes holding up my camera at the moment. Today's episode is brought to you by CollectFest, Australia's new and biggest collectibles festival, held here in Melbourne with over 300 stands, with many, many more to come. We've got some big exhibitors like the Royal Australian Mint, Kink Comics, Luna Cards, Anime Works, and many, many other small businesses.
These events are going to be held at the premier convention centres in each city and encompassing all collectibles from comics, video games, gaming, sneakers, trading cards, toys, and much more. If you can collect it, it will be there. Gary Haase, King Pokémon, courtesy of CollectFest and us here at the Hobby Podcast, is actually going to be at the Melbourne show, and we have some super exciting announcements to come. You're not going to want to miss Gary's first trip down under. Melbourne, 5th to 6th of July, 2025. Brisbane, 26th to 27th of July. Sydney, 23rd to 24th of August.
So make sure you jump online, grab your tickets at collectfest.com.au. That's collectfest.com.au, and don't miss out.
This is going to be a phenomenal beginning for a new convention in Australia. I mean, the one in Melbourne is going to be held at the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre. So we're super, super excited for that. We look forward to seeing you there. We will be there. All right. Well, that's an emotional sort of roller coaster of a recap, because it's been a phenomenal year. I think we do have a couple of Hobby Heroes calls. Guys, in 2025, if you want to do anything to help support us, it's call in. It's a segment of the show that I think is underdone, and I think can bring a lot more, and it could be a lot longer and larger if the community got around it, because we're giving you a platform. Like the last couple of episodes have had thousands of views. Thousands. We are giving you a platform to ask your questions, express your feelings, right? And you don't have to pick something that we spoke about. There might be something in the hobby, in the community, in a game that you want to mention, you want people to talk about. We're giving you the platform to do that. So in 2025, this year, take advantage of it. Really take advantage of it, and it's going to help the whole thing, the whole hobby community grow, because we're giving you the platform to talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, we're on this.
If you don't like me and Lee, call up and tell us. Yeah. I'll play it. But in saying that,
hey Dean, hey Lee, I don't like you. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, guys. Good, valuable input. Let's go to the first caller on Hobby Heroes.
Hey legends, Melski here, just popping in to say keep up the awesomeness, and also I'm thinking mostly for Pokemon but could be easily for any TCG. How does each massive hit card for each set gets determined? Okie dokie, toodles!
It's actually a great point, Melski. Like usually, for Pokemon in particular, the biggest hit card is always some form of a rare variant of that card, like an alternate art or an art rare, right? So it's not an easy pull, but then it's usually also just the most popular species for the most part. Like, waifu trainer cards are popular, but then you get like popular Pokemon species.
Yeah.
you know?
Charizards, Pikachus, Evolutions, Legendaries. But then you get the Magikarp that comes out from Paldea Evolved and is just the biggest.
Well, it wasn't when it came out either.
No, but now it's.
But now it is.
Now it's huge.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like everything in our hobby. It's just market supply and demand, or market demand for sure. Like, it is purely determined by the market. And Pokemon would know exactly what they're doing in terms of what they put out there. You know what I mean? Like, even when you look at Shrouded Fable, is there a massive hit?
The Greninja?
That's not in Shrouded Fable. That's in Twilight Masquerade.
That's in Twilight Masquerade, yeah. Shrouded Fable.
Now, see that, right? I don't even like Greninja, but that card looks beautiful. Also, its pull rate is ridiculously impossible.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think every set and every TCG is going to have a different factor. Like, MetaZoo used to make secret rares, so they told you what was going to be the biggest hit because it was purely just rare. It doesn't even, some of them didn't even look good. Yeah. Some of them did, some of them didn't, you know? Pokemon's a different one because they don't do numbered cards. They don't do serialized cards, and they don't do secret rares, like in the sense that, you know, it's one of 100, like a MetaZoo secret rare.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Pokemon's just purely about, you know, the popularity.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because you've got a set like Darkness Ablaze, where the most popular card in that set is the Charizard VMAX, but that doesn't even fetch $50 anymore. But then you go to Evolving Skies and you've got 2,800 on a Moonbryon. Like, it's just... But the Charizard VMAX in Darkness Ablaze is a great looking card. Yeah. But it's just, there's no demand there for it. Like...
Yeah, that's a bloody good question, Melsky.
As you look at Paldean Fates, it's got the Mew, the Gardevoir, and the Charizard.
The Bubble Mew dude is popping off right now.
The Bubble Mew, yeah. Is that like the biggest...
That wasn't.
Yeah.
But now it is.
Yeah.
It wasn't the biggest hit.
It's a nice card.
No, it is the biggest hit.
It's kind of rare. It's a nice card.
The flip. What's going on? So, yeah, it's the market, Mel. God knows how. That's it.
Yeah, if we could pick it, we'd buy 100 of each variant the moment it comes out.
Mate, we had Bubble Mews in the store for like 150 to $200 a pop months ago. And, you know, people would buy them to finish their sets, and that was about it. Now, people come in and go, where's the Bubble Mews? Yeah. Like, they're gone. And you look online, they're selling for like $450, $500 raw. It's just mental.
Wow.
Like, you know, if I knew the secret to that, Mel, I mean, we already run a very successful business, but it'd be $1 billion business instead of $1 million business, I'll tell you that much. All right, let's go to caller 2.
Hey guys, Matty here. You've had a massive 2024. Congratulations on that. I'm interested to hear what you guys have in the pipeline for 2025.
Matty boy, I like that we're wrapping up with a couple of OG homies.
Yeah,
on the last day.
The boys have been unbelievable. I know Maddie's called in a few times now.
Well, I think they kind of understand the concept.
Yeah,
what I was just saying before we jumped into this, like, we're giving people a platform to ask questions and discuss points, and they understand that. So they're utilizing it.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that they are, because I think in the long run, I think the hobby heroes will form a big part. That's why I called it the hobby heroes, because it's meant to be like hobbyists coming together, like, to, you know, fix issues, discuss issues, pump each other up, talk about this, talk about that. So I'm grateful that those boys do. And yeah, the pipe for 2025, Matty, is chockers. It's chockers. I think we've covered most of it, to be fair.
Shout out to Matty as well. He's had a huge 2024, you know, knowing him on a personal level. He's had a really big year as well. So congrats on your year as well, mate. Absolutely killing it. Can we give people a bit of a sense of what's coming up in 2025 now? Can we give them a spoiler?
Like what? What are you asking me?
Maddie's just asked for it. Maybe we can let people know what we've got planned.
I will say this much. Lee, myself, and Gary Hayes, King Pokemon, will be breaking a base set booster box on stage at CollectFest. Is that what you want from me?
Take 2. We get to do it again.
So, yeah, more details to come about how you can get involved in that, because there will only be 36 people Australia-wide that can get involved in that. But, yeah, it's going to blow your jocks off.
Yeah. There you go. That's what Matty wants. He
All
wants to know what's planned for 2025.
All right, well, it's out there now. If I feel like removing it before we put it live, I will. But all right, caller 3, last one for the 2024, even though it's 2025 right now, the segment.
G'day, lads. First of all, massive congratulations for such a big 2024 for the podcast. So many amazing episodes and so many fantastic guests along the way. It really has been a pleasure to tune into. Which leads into my question, which is for you guys: what are some of your highlights of the year? Favorite episodes, favorite guests, favorite news? Yeah, just might be a hard one to pick because there's been so many great eps. But yeah, it would be great to hear your thoughts on your best bits of the year. But yeah, otherwise, congrats again. Happy New Year to you guys, and look forward to tuning in for 2025 and seeing what you guys can bring. Really excited to see what's coming.
Swano.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.
Swano. I will never get sick of that man's voice.
I know. I think you've told me that if I ever leave the pod, he's going to be your first one in,
Gets
right?
the call up.
Yeah.
Gets the call up.
Put your voice in with his. You get that? Like,
mate. I still remember the first. He was one of the first Hobby Heroes calls we had too, and he's like, "Hello, darlings."
Yeah.
I remember that. It was so
hello,
funny.
darlings.
As soon as I heard that, I was like, "Oh, Swano can have a slot anytime. He can come on the pod." But you know what? We've covered a couple of highlights. But something that I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed watching it back last week, was you fumble the football hard with Logan Head's quick fire questions. Because we did that as a premiere, and when I was watching it, I was pissing myself, man. I was like, Kearnsy worked so hard on these, and I bet you he thought he was all over it. And he just fumbled the footy so hard.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, I laughed so hard that I actually enjoyed it. Like I was like, you know, it was just funny. It was great.
yeah, that was. I mean, what's the saying? You miss every shot you don't take, right?
Yeah.
I can't expect to nail it every time. You know, those rapid fire questions have been such a hit.
Yeah.
And we've done so well, you know, in that segment of our interviews with that guest. And with Logan Head, I just completely missed.
Yeah.
Ah, man. That was, I did my research, just probably not as much. Maybe not as much as I probably should have.
Yeah.
I've got, I keep going back to one moment that always stands out. And it goes back to something that I said earlier where we put a lot of time into, you know, tailoring the questions for our guests and making them feel comfortable and showing respect to them. And there was a comment that Thea made back on the episode where we interviewed her, where she turned and said, "You two might be the most knowledgeable people in my book I've ever met." And that moment that she said that was just like this is like
validation.
Validation, yeah. Like
straight up validation, like, good, we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, like, and we know we are, and like we have fun on the journey, but when to hear that live on the pod, it was like, oh yes, like we are on the right track here. We are doing the right thing. So because like I said, it's not just the 2 hours of recording and the 2 hours of setup.
Yep.
You know, that was 20 to 25 hours of reading and research and stuff like that. So that was really awesome. That's probably the moment that stands out the most at the moment.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. There's been many. There's been many. Many. And I don't know if you guys have heard our third host basically for the whole year would be my son Harry. Because we do record this at home. And I don't know if other people pick up on it, but every now and again you'll hear him like cry out or squawk or like, you know, bang on a door or something. So like, where is he? Maybe we'll get him in here. Let's get Harry in here. Here he is. Come here, Harry. We were just talking about you. Come on, come here. Come here.
Hey.
Our third host, here he is.
Hello.
Little Harry. Look.
The happiest boy in the world.
What's Uncle Lee doing over there?
Hi.
Look. Can you see yourself? Look here. Look here. Dada. 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 But yeah, So it's been a good year.
It's been a really good
It's
year.
been a really, really good year. You gonna eat the cheese? You want to speak in the mic? Say dada.
He's going to say Kenzie. Kenzie.
Imagine the first time he does it is on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I reckon unless you've got anything else to add, Kearns.
Here's the 2024 and a bigger 2025, Dino and hobbyists. I'm excited for the journey. Let's do it.
I like it. All right. Well, that is Wheels Up, guys, and we are out of here. We will see you next time on the Hobby Podcast.